Hello YouTube, and thank you for joining my channel. This is Monique, Fantabulous Monique. Today I want to talk to you about consequences for children. Now, why am I discussing this? I raised two kids. They're now adults, 21 going on 22 in November and 20. Okay. I also have a little boy who calls me Momo, and we'll stop there. Okay, the G word for me is an F word. So no, he calls me Momo. That's my daughter's little boy. He's extremely smart, highly intelligent, and boy can he ever work the phone and when he's watching his video and such. Okay, so about children and consequences. Some people think that children should not know consequences. We should not discipline our children. We need to discipline our children. If we do not discipline our children, they will become, what did they used to call it in the olden days? A menace to society? Who wants that? Who wants that? You see, discipline or consequences to each action is just to for the child to understand as they grow up to be adults, because hey, listen, your child is a baby for now, okay? But that baby today is going to be a day old tomorrow. And before you know it, I'm in the park where they're playing football with little kids, okay? So no watching them. Before you know it, your child become an adult, is teenager and become an adult. We want to raise our children in a sense that they have respect, manners, independence, boundaries, their own boundaries, and understand consequences. It is important that kids understand consequences. It's never too early to start talking to your child about the consequences by doing for his or her action. So when I was raising my kids, I raised them in the sense that, okay, if you do this, this will be the consequence of your action, right? And they learn it. My son especially was one that was like getting into trouble a lot. And I would say to him, do you want good consequence or bad consequence? And he'd say, good consequence. Oh yes, of course, in French. Their first language is French. He'd say, good consequence. And I say, okay, then for that reason, you need to do what will create that good consequence. When people say, okay, you shouldn't give your kids consequences. Well, do you realize that as adults, if we do not go to work when we are working, that we will face a consequence, and the consequence that we will face could be very detrimental to our lives and our family lives. So, and then therefore, you know, it's the same thing as in if you are building something, you have a talent for something, a gift for something. What's a consequence for practicing that gift, that talent? The consequence is going to be good. The consequence is going to be one that you will benefit from. Listen, consequence is not a negative thing. It is just a word describing that there will be, somebody won again, that there will be an action or, again, consequence to your action. Because as they say, for every action, there's an equal reaction. Now, I'd like to say that is reaction and response. Why? Because reaction is reacting, like the doctor say to you, your body is reacting to the medicine. Well, that's not good. But if the doctor say to you, your body is responding to the medicine, that's great, right? It's the same thing that when we react to something that somebody say to us, and we're just like, "Argh," that's reacting. That's a negative thing, right? And then when we respond, it's a great thing. Oh, thank you. That is so kind of you. Okay, that is wonderful. Okay. Well, consequence is just something that will happen according to your action. It is just that, a word. Consequence, something that will happen according to your action. So, therefore, it's not a negative connotation. So, so please understand that when raising your child, you're raising your child with consequences. They need to understand that, because they will learn how to create their own boundaries, their own limitations. Well, actually, yes, they will create their own limitations as well. Okay, we don't want to limit kids on things, but we want them to understand this is what will happen. Okay, in both sense, in the good and the bad sense, not just in the good sense or in the bad sense, but in both senses, so that they can grow up with a balance, right? So yes, in the Bible it says that teach a child the way he should go, and he will never depart from it. That is a fact, guarantee. I raise my kids, and yes, I raise them by the Bible, and yes, they have not departed from it, because I raise them in such a sense that they will be able to sustain all the pressure that they're going under, or that they would go under rather, okay? Would go under. And the other thing is, when you raise your child to be independent and self-sufficient, okay, we're not all self-sufficient, and we're not always going to be self-sufficient, because we need others in order to survive, to live. So we also have to ask for help sometimes when we need it, okay? But when we do that, what will happen is that when peer pressure comes, when they're older, in their teens, they will know so much of what to do and how not to give in to peer pressure. Yes, they might even give in sometimes, but they will always have it in the back of their head. Watch the morals, the values that we teach them. Kids need values. They need morals. They need boundaries. They need to understand consequences. They need to understand the world before they even get there. Just because they're babies doesn't mean they're too young to know. Remember, your child is never too young to learn, and we are never too old either, okay? So I want to wish you all the best today, and may you have a wonderful day. I look like it's about to rain soon, so I'm gonna go in now, go home now, and I wish you all the best. Remember, your kids need you to set boundaries. Oh, here's another thing. One day I was listening to the news, and one 12-year-old girl called in complaining that her parents never let her do anything, they're so strict, and blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? A 14-year-old girl called in, and she was saying, you are lucky that your parents have rules for you. My parents, they make me do whatever I want. And then she's like, so isn't that good? It's like, no. Because that 14-year-old girl was saying, because they allow her to do that, it's like they don't even love her. They don't care about her. That was her feelings. So remember, your child is feeling differently than you might think. You might think it's okay to let them run free, but they could be feeling differently. So watch your child's action, listen to them, read them, and understand. Consequences, boundaries are important, as well as values and morals. Have a wonderful day. I hope this was a video that can help you and bless you, and I will be bringing out more videos on kids. Actually, I will be. They are really my favorite. So I will be doing that. So I wish you all the best. God bless. Have a fabulous day. This is Monique. Fantabulous Monique.